Welcome to LNT. Whether you're new or a returning visitor, LNT is your go-to destination for exploring the world of English literature, especially tailored for high school students and non-native English speakers. Today we're applying our step-by-step approach to analyze Joseph Conrad's masterpiece, Heart of Darkness. We've divided it into key sections to craft an analysis that's easy to understand, remember, and present. Our method ensures that essential aspects of the work are covered and can be applied to any literary work. Here's how we're going to walk you through Conrad's Heart of Darkness. General introduction, plot overview, structure, character analysis, settings, point of view, and themes. This title isn't just a combination of words. It serves as a synthesis of the story's profound themes. Let's break it down. Firstly, consider heart. While we typically view the heart as a vital organ, in literature it often symbolizes emotions, love. It can also represent the core or central idea of a story. Next comes the word darkness. In everyday language, darkness refers to the absence of light. In figurative language, it symbolizes obscurity, fear, or moral ambiguity. It hints at the hidden or unseen aspects of people, places, or situations. When Conrad combines heart and darkness, he suggests a journey into the unknown, where characters face challenges and uncertainties both physically and metaphorically. The combination of heart and darkness underscores contrasts within the narrative, such as light versus darkness, good versus evil, and enlightenment versus ignorance. It also highlights the struggles between these opposing forces within individuals and society. Let's see the publication. In the late 19th century, Heart of Darkness appeared in Blackwood's magazine, serialized in 3 parts in 1899, marking the magazine's 1000th edition. The story found its first audience in Scotland, especially among men with conservative views. Conrad tailored the narrative for this particular audience, leading to its initial success. By 1902, Conrad bundled Heart of Darkness with 2 other tales in a collection titled Youth, a Narrative, and 2 Other Stories. This set included Youth, a Narrative, Heart of Darkness, and The End of the Tether. All these stories share a common character, Marlow. In 1917, Conrad added an author's note highlighting Marlow as the central character across these tales. He noted that while the stories are different, Marlow connects them through exploration and adventure. Let's see where Joseph Conrad got his ideas for Heart of Darkness and briefly look at the genre of this work. Conrad used his own experiences from a trip along the Congo River. He wrote about this trip in his diary called The Congo Diary in 1890. These real-life experiences are included in Heart of Darkness and helped Conrad tell a story about Belgian colonization of the Congo and the problems with imperialism. Characters like Kurtz in the story are based on real people Conrad met during his trip. Heart of Darkness is a novella. Novellas are longer than short stories, but not as long as full novels. They let authors explore ideas in detail without making the story too long. Let's dive into the plot. The story starts on a boat called the Nelly, anchored on the River Thames. Marlow, our main character, tells us about his trip up the River Congo for a Belgian company that trades ivory. Marlow's job is to find Kurtz, a man known as the best agent of the company, renowned for his skills to obtain ivory from the villages around the inner station. But this trip isn't easy. Marlow faces dangers and has to think hard about what's right and wrong. His journey takes him to different places. First, the outer station, then the central station where he hears stories about Kurtz. As Marlow goes further into Africa, he sees the bad side of colonialism and learns new things that challenge what he believed. At the inner station, Marlow meets Kurtz. He's shocked by Kurtz's power and cruel actions. Let's try to sum up the plot until now. We can say that the stage has been set aboard the Nelly. The narrator, Marlow, has been introduced, and we have learnt about Marlow's observations regarding the harsh realities of colonialism. As Marlow progresses in his perusal of the inner station in search of Kurtz, the place becomes unsettling, with frightening sights everywhere. For instance, he encounters human heads impaled on stakes. The station he visits is in awful conditions, with mounds of ivory scattered about. In these grim surroundings, Marlow starts to recognize the darkness in people, including himself. Finally, Marlow gets to Kurtz and manages to embark him on his steamer. On the way back, Kurtz gets very sick and dies. His last words, the horror, leave Marlow thinking about the terrible things Kurtz did. Back in Europe, Marlow has to meet Kurtz's fiancée and has to decide if he should tell her the truth about Kurtz's last words. He decides to protect her from the sad reality. Let's get to the sophisticated structure of this novella, focusing on its circular structure first. Conrad employs a circular structure. The story begins and ends with an unknown narrator and a group of friends aboard the Nelly in London. This cyclical approach mirrors Marlow's journey into and out of Africa. As the story circles back to its starting point, readers are left to ponder Marlow's psychological and moral challenges. But there's more. Conrad uses another structure, the frame story. The frame story traces Marlow's dual journey, a physical and a psychological voyage. We are first presented with Marlow's geographical voyage on the river Congo searching for Kurtz. This geographical voyage serves as a psychological exploration, challenging Marlow's understanding of humanity outside the social structure of civilization. When Marlow returns to the Thames, his psychological journey ended, forever altering his perspective. And yes, the characters are as complex as the structure of the novella. Let's explore them. The main characters, Marlow and Kurtz. Marlow undergoes personal growth and self-discovery during his journey into Africa, while Kurtz serves as an enigmatic figure mirroring Marlow's moral journey. Let's see the other characters. The men aboard the Nelly. Marlow's friends offer contrasting perspectives to Marlow's experiences in Africa. They comment and interpret the story they are listening to. Marlow's aunt highlights social norms and expectations of the time, believing in the progress brought by Europe to Africa. The Swedish gentleman shares a shocking story revealing different aspects of human nature, deepening Marlow's understanding. The general manager and the pilgrims represent the complexities of imperialism, exposing contradictions in colonial enterprise. The cannibals show resilience despite mistreatment, challenging stereotypes about indigenous people. To these, we must add a symbolic character, the jungle. It symbolizes the unknown and moral dilemmas faced by characters. Female characters are portrayed as naive and ignorant, They are shielded from the harsh realities of imperialism by men. Marlow's aunt represents the European concept of colonization as a civilizing mission. Kurtz's lady from Africa and Kurtz's fiancé represent contrasting views of Kurtz and his impact on those around him. Let's examine the setting in place. Our journey in Heart of Darkness starts in London along the River Thames. This river symbolizes more than just water. It's the boundary between civilization and the unknown. Then we have the Congo River from the outer to the central station. Accompanied by fog that symbolizes confusion and mystery, as Marlow journeys deeper into Africa, he observes what colonialism really means. He is initially shocked by what he encounters. At each stop, Marlow grows more disillusioned, questioning his role in the colonial system and facing its moral complexities. The Congo River contrasts with the Thames as a symbol of darkness and the unknown. At the inner station, he faces the darkness within himself and others. Here he meets Kurtz, a figure whose madness reflects the colonial system's truth. With this encounter, Marlow finally understands the darkness around him and the moral decay within himself. At this point, before hinting at the setting in time, it's necessary to examine the use of narrators in the novella. Heart of Darkness features multiple narrators, each offering a distinct perspective on the story. The primary narrator is an unnamed individual who offers a third-person perspective. Situated on the Nelly, this narrator introduces Marlow to the readers and provides the context for him to tell his journey into the Congo. He establishes the present moment from which Marlow's past experiences are recounted. Marlow himself emerges as a secondary narrator for most of the story. Through his first-person narration, readers are transported back in time to his expedition into the heart of Africa. Marlow's perspective offers intimate insights into his thoughts, emotions, and observations during his journey, providing a subjective lens through which to interpret the events unfolding in the Congo. He also acts as a character. In addition to the primary and secondary narrators, there are other voices that contribute to the narrative complexity. These include the individuals aboard the Nelly who question and interpret Marlow's story, as well as the characters Marlow encounters at various stations of the company who provide subjective information about Kurtz. The presence of multiple narrators in Heart of Darkness complicates the very structure of the novella. To sum up, in Heart of Darkness, the perspective operates like a relay race. It begins with one narrator who then passes the narrative baton to Marlow. Marlow, in turn, learns about Kurtz from others before encountering him firsthand. This approach allows us to see Kurtz not exclusively through Marlow's viewpoint, but also through the lens of various characters who discuss Kurtz prior to his actual appearance in the narrative. You can help this channel grow, share the videos and subscribe. It's easy for you and important for us. And now the setting in time. There's a very sophisticated time structure in Heart of Darkness. The novel unfolds through multiple temporal layers, reflecting both the immediate events of Marlow's journey and broader historical context. We must consider the novella presents two different temporal planes. The present moment of the first unknown narrator aboard the Nelly, and the past recollections of Marlow's journey into the Congo. This juxtaposition weaves together present reflections with past experiences. Conrad incorporates references to other historical periods beyond Marlow's immediate journey. He draws parallels between the European colonization of Africa and earlier imperial colonizations, such as those of the ancient Romans and Elizabethan navigators. These time shifts serve to contextualize and deepen the exploration of colonialism as a recurring theme throughout history. Some of the main themes explored in the novella include imperialism, the darkness of the human soul, the duality of human nature, the impact of colonization on both the colonizer and the colonized, the ambiguity of morality, and the concept of civilization versus savagery. The novella explores the consequences of European imperialism in Africa. Conrad depicts how imperialism and colonialism lead to the exploitation and degradation of both the colonizers and the colonized. The darkness of the human soul. Conrad examines the darker aspects of human nature in two different ways. Through Marlow's psychological voyage into the heart of Africa, and through Kurtz's descent into madness and depravity. The darkness metaphorically represents the depth of human cruelty, greed, and the capacity for evil. Conrad explores the idea that every person harbors both good and evil within them. Characters like Kurtz personify this duality, oscillating between enlightened intellect and primitive impulses. Marlow, too, grapples with his own moral ambiguity as he observes the consequences of colonialism and his own conscience. The novella also portrays the devastating consequences of colonization on both the colonizers and the indigenous people of Africa. It highlights the dehumanizing effects of colonialism on the native population as well as on the colonizers, who become consumed by greed, power, and moral decay. Conrad portrays the African wilderness as a place of primeval savagery juxtaposed against the supposedly civilized world of Europe. The tension between the civilization and savagery, together with the atrocities committed in the name of colonization, call into question the true nature of civilization and its claims to moral superiority. Finally, Conrad exposes the hypocrisy inherent in European imperialism and the rhetoric of civilizing missions. The company's mission of civilization masks its true motives of economic exploitation and domination. Marlow encounters various instances of hypocrisy throughout his journey that force him to confront the moral ambiguity of his own society. Well, that's all for Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. See you next time. In the meantime, stay lit.